hostess, and this here may be tough to you. Snack cake to me, yeah, more hostess. This been overdue forever. Asked me when it was dropping, said never. Should've made you cut the feta, but I designed it Freemason Margiela.
What's good, Shellitronnn here, the most woke, no joke, and I'm back at again with a brand new video, and I'm gonna keep it a bold, brave biscuit. This offseason, this whole free agency period right now for the Panthers might just be quietly one of the better free agency periods for any team in the league. Now, I know you're thinking right now, okay, wait. We didn't pick up OBJ. We didn't get, Antonio Brown. We didn't pick up Le'Veon Bell. We didn't pick up any of these big, splashy name guys. But for the Carolina Panthers and Marty Hurney as a GM in his second time around with the team, I'm really thinking the Panthers might just be having the best free agency period, and I'll tell you why. We're picking up a lot of good players that fit our scheme, and we haven't given up a single draft pick yet, and we're not really giving out huge contracts to players that are going to have to prove that they're actually worth that big money. We're not giving out, $70 million deals with like $40 million guaranteed. We're not giving out these big, exorbitant contracts, and we're picking up very good players. We got Matt Paradis, a really good center, probably the best center in free agency this year. We got Darrell Williams, probably the best right tackle in free agency this year, back on a one-year deal when he was saying earlier, just in last offseason, that he wanted Matt Khalil money. And we know what Matt Khalil money looked like, man. That's a real big bag. For us to pick him back up for a one-year deal for what, $6-7 million as a proven deal, that's amazing. And didn't we pick up a safety? Didn't we extend a safety way earlier in free agency? A guy that really probably could have gone to another team for a huge sum of money. If you've been paying attention at all during this free agency period, you may have noticed that safeties are getting paid a lot more this year than they were last year. And somehow we ended up keeping Eric Reid for a fraction of what safeties at his level are getting. And don't get it twisted, Eric Reid was definitely the top 3 free agent safeties for this year. I would not have been surprised if Eric Reid could have gotten the deal that Landon Collins got. And there were some other deals here and there we pulled off for backups, and like special teams kind of guys. That's cool. But Marty Hurney just did it again. I don't know what's going on in the front offices in Charlotte, man, but Marty Hurney pulled it off again. He just picked up Bruce Irvin, listed as a defensive end, but he's really more like an edge rusher kind of guy. He runs defensive end, and he can play outside linebacker. Will he play the will? That's where Thomas Davis came from. Maybe we'll move Shaq Thompson out of the Sam. I'm not really sure how it's going to work, but with us going to a 3-4-4-3 kind of multiple look next year, this might have been one of the best pickups. I know I said about Matt Paradis. I said Matt Paradis could have been one of the best pickups of this offseason for us. But this Bruce Irvin pickup right here really might be even bigger than Matt Paradis to a certain degree. Look at his stats right here. What are some things you notice here? Let's skim through it real quick. What are some things you notice about this stat line right here from his whole career? I mean, the first thing that jumps out to me is those sack numbers, man. Look, his rookie year in the league, didn't start a single game and had 8 sacks. Only 17 combined tackles, so just under half of his tackles were sacks as a rookie. Second year, 2 sacks. Third year, 6.5, then 5.5, 7, 8, and 6.5. I mean, this man is a monster. He played 4 years for Seattle. That was from 2012 to 2015. That was back when Seattle and Carolina were playing each other every single year. So we've seen him a lot. He's seen us a lot, and we were very familiar with each other. Then he played 2 years in Oakland, and he had 2 of his best years there. I mean, 7 sacks. 8 sacks, 6 and 4 forced fumbles, and he got a few passes defended in there as well. Wherever Bruce Irvin is gone, he's produced, he's put up numbers. I'm actually surprised we got him on a 1-year deal. I actually am very surprised that Bruce Irvin was not picked up. We got him on a 1-year deal for a guy as versatile and for a guy who's put up numbers. And even when the Raiders cut this man in the middle of the season, like smack dab in the middle of the season, Atlanta picked him up 2 days later. The Falcons signed this man 2 days later, put him in the lineup, and he got 3.5 sacks, 13 tackles for the Falcons. This man, Bruce Irvin, can really bring a lot of positives to our defense. He has a skill set to fit the scheme right away, but he also brings something else to the table, and that's veteran leadership. He's been in the league for 8 years now, and with Julius Peppers, Thomas Davis, Mike Adams being gone from the defensive side of the ball, we really need some kind of veteran voice in the locker room. We have a lot of young guys. The team's probably going to be drafting a lot of defensive guys in this upcoming draft. So him being in the locker room and with his resume, he would already demand a lot of respect from the guys over there. These young guys in the front seven can learn a lot from him. And remember what the biggest issue was when the team let go of Thomas Davis Sr. is that, oh man, the Panthers used to have, the best 1-2 punch at linebacker, the best linebacker duo in the league. Now we have Luke Kuechly and Bruce Irvin. I don't think we've lost a step at all. And I think that although Bruce Irvin has a different game sort of than Thomas Davis Sr., I really do believe that from a production standpoint, the Panthers are taking a definite step forward rather than making like a lateral move or a step back. I know a lot of people will think about, picking up a linebacker in the draft, but this Bruce Irvin pick really does open up the draft for a lot of reasons, and I'll get to that in a second. But before that, I really want to talk about something that Bruce Irvin said. One of the first things he mentioned when the news broke was that he wants to get his hands on Brian Cox Jr. because he thinks that Brian Cox Jr. reminds him a lot of a younger Bruce. And that's actually very interesting for a lot of different reasons. First of all, Bruce Irvin is already showing his veteran leadership, his ability to be a mentor, his willingness to be a mentor, because some guys who are stars in the league, it's not really a guy's job to mentor other guys. Your real job on the team is to play your role, get your production, and help the team win. Your job isn't really to be a mentor to younger guys because, you're trying to make money for yourself, feed your family, and if you end up training a guy so well he ends up taking your job, then where are you at? It's kind of one of those things where you have to decide just how much of someone else's production and someone else's growth as a player is your responsibility. But it's also very interesting here because Bruce Irvin was a first-round pick, and Brian Cox Jr. went undrafted a couple years ago. Not really too many stats to really speak on. In 2017, he didn't start any games, only played in 7 games, 6 combined tackles. Just last year, no starts, only played in 11 games. 10 combined tackles, no sacks. But Brian Cox Jr. has shown some flashes of potential. A lot of those coming in the preseason, but he also did find himself in some really good positions last year where I thought to myself, Brian Cox Jr. could be an asset moving forward. But the fact still remains that the stats don't really add up to, I'm not really sure what Bruce Irvin actually sees in Brian Cox Jr. But that's just the thing. For a guy like Brian Cox Jr. to hear a guy like Bruce Irvin saying, I want to get my hands on you, mentor you, get you ready for this next upcoming year, that means a lot. That can have a really big impact on Brian Cox Jr.'s confidence. And obviously if he gets his skills up by working with Bruce, more confidence, better skills will lead to better production. But one of the biggest things that really struck me about this statement was that he said this not about like a rookie guy, not about a guy who has a few more years in the team left. This is Brian Cox Jr.'s last year of his deal on the Panthers. So there's no long-term potential for like return on investment here by, mentoring Brian Cox Jr. specifically by name. This is part of the reason why Bruce Irvin was brought on the team. Bruce Irvin is already that dude in my eyes. But I mentioned the draft earlier. Let me go back around and circle back around to that real quick. This even further opens up the draft for the team. This whole offseason, this whole free agency period, Marty Hurney's been targeting guys in positions of such big need that people were thinking about, maybe we should pick up a center in the first 2 rounds. Okay, we got that. Maybe get a tackle in the first 2 rounds. Okay, well, we have Darrell Williams now. Maybe a safety in the first couple rounds. We got Eric Reed kind of early, so that's not really the same kind of thing. But we were also thinking about picking up an edge rusher in the first couple rounds, and I still do think we will. I still think that the edge rusher will be a guy we'll pick up in the first couple rounds, but I think that with Bruce Irvin here, I'm not really sure that we need to pick up a linebacker in this draft anymore. I'm trying to think right now. I think the team has the linebackers it needs that like in the 4th round, 5th round, we don't really need to go after a linebacker anymore. That opens up the draft for maybe picking up a long-term backup quarterback, maybe in the 4th, probably in the 5th really, more realistically in the 6th. Maybe we go for a receiver in the 4th or the 5th, maybe a backup running back kind of guy. I'm not really sure about Fozzie Whitaker. How's he doing? Haven't heard any word on him. We also haven't heard any word about Ross Cockrell or Denora Cersei. I mentioned that so many times in previous videos. I don't want to get into it right now. Those are also big questions about our roster that I'm really not sure about. But this pickup here, by picking up a guy who's an edge rusher but not necessarily a defensive end, we can maybe go best player available in the first round. I was always very high on saying edge rusher, edge rusher, edge rusher in the very first round because we need a culture-changing edge rusher. But with Bruce Irvin, this year, we may be able to, go after a tackle or a guard, whichever one we need. I guess whatever position the team decides Taylor Moton won't be playing. Taylor Moton might be playing left guard this season. He might be playing left tackle. I think whichever position that he's not playing is the position that we're going to be going after in the draft first as far as O-line goes. But maybe with this Bruce Irvin pickup, the team goes after an O-lineman first in the draft and goes after an edge rusher in the 2nd round. Keep in mind there is a pretty big drop-off in first-round edge rusher talent and second-round edge talent. A pretty considerable drop-off in talent between the number 16 pick and the number 47 pick. But I do think the team might just go ahead and make that move because with Bruce Irvin being only a 1-year deal, and I'm not sure if it's going to be a 1-year prove-it deal. We have a lot of 1-year deal kind of guys in the team right now Who we going to extend? There's a lot of other guys we have to, sign for next year and years beyond. Do we pick him up for another few years if he plays well this season? But the thing is, with Bruce Irvin on the team for sure this year, we could maybe afford to pick up a second-round talent this year and then go after a first-round defensive end talent next year. We do have that flexibility this year with how versatile Bruce Irvin is as a player. So I would not really be all that surprised if the team does go second-round edge talent. I'm still the mindset that we should go first round. I really want Cleveland, maybe Montez, maybe even Burns if he's there. I think at number 16 we'll be getting, the number 5 or 6 best talent at the edge because a lot of teams need edge rushers, and there's a lot of really good edge talent at the top half of this draft that teams will not want to pass on. But we'll see how all that shakes out in about a month or so when the draft comes up. But wrap it all up, man. This Bruce Irvin pickup was perfect for so many reasons, not just for his own stats, but for his mentorship, his veteran leadership, his voice in the locker room, his lead by example on the field, how his presence opens up the draft for us, and how maybe if he performs well this year, we might be able to extend him for later years and, maintain that 1-2 punch of having Luke Kuechly and Bruce Irvin as linebackers. We might see, Shaq Thompson grow up a little bit more, Marquise Haynes. You never, ever know. But one thing for sure, Marty Hurney is on genius levels. Marty Hurney's making some moves here very, very quietly, and I'm actually very, very impressed. But what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this move here? Was it a good move? What are your thoughts on Bruce Irvin, his impact on the team, his impact on the draft? Has this changed your opinion on the draft at all? Has this finally changed your opinion on Marty Hurney? Let me know in the comments below. And you already know to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Being told y'all I been the man. Being told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.